got like a stream of Halo here.
Oh, because you're so angelic.
I'm the baby Jeebus
Baby Jeebus.
with my modern day Jeebus.
Yes, my son. Right. Are you excited?
I am very excited.
For this is called Retro Gak Attack, but I think we're just going to call it the Nick Show for this one. Because we're discussing Pokemon.
Not necessarily. Not
It shouldn't be, no. I know my Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow.
There you go, then.
Not red, though. I didn't have red. I had blue and yellow.
It's the same game. It's the same game. Yeah, pretty much.
Yellow just had different pictures for some of the Pokemons. That's all I remember.
Well, actually, Yellow. To be honest, Yellow was there was a big change. Some big changes in Yellow.
I remember Yellow more. Yellow was my first one, and I bummed Yellow, and then I don't remember how, but I got Blue. I think maybe my mum and dad thought it was. It is a different game, but it's not really a different game, is it?
Yeah. So I mean, Red and Blue are essentially the two pieces of the jigsaw, where you need both games to complete your Pokédex, because it's the same formula that's been used for every 9 generations.
Yeah.
You do need both games if you want to complete the Pokédex. Which, to be honest,
did you do it?
And Red and Blue, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did. But I didn't buy Red and Blue though. This is the thing. So I mean, let's go back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning. Do you know the facts? Do you know the facts, or do I need to?
You fire me some facts, and if you surprise me, then
I've got fat facts. I've found fat facts, but
push the button so the thing comes up. Fat facts.
Wait, hold on. I've got the fat facts. But we'll save that. What is Pokemon Red and Blue? In Japan, they got Pocket Monsters Red and Green.
Yeah.
In the beautiful year of 1996. February 1996 for the Game Boy.
Yep.
And then they later on, in December of the same year, got Blue.
Blue. Yep.
Which was like an updated version of Red and Green.
Yeah, the sprites and everything were updated and cleaned and
and then
taken out.
A couple of years later, we got the game. We got Red and Blue.
Yep.
America got it a couple of months before us. A month before us. They got it September. We got it October 1990. No, we got it 1999. Did we?
No.
Oh, this might be a dodgy site. This is like the Pokemon website as well. I don't want to go off Wikipedia. I'm going off the Pokemon page. Hold on. Wikipedia. They almost got the facts right then, to be fair.
The Pokemon Hill got their own facts right then, nearly.
Yeah, so Pocket Monsters Red and Green, February 1996. Blue, October 1996. And then Pokemon Red and Blue came out September 1998 for North America. And October 5th, 1999 for EU.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure most copies. I know I got mine 98.
Oh, I got mine way after. I was only...
Yeah.
Probably around that time I'd have got it, actually, 99. I remember I was towards the end of primary, and we were bringing our Game Boys in with Pokemon. So I might...
Were you allowed?
Well...
we were banned.
We'd sneak it in, yeah. We'd sneak it in.
Cavities.
When did Yellow come out? Yellow's must have a different.
Yellow is the height of season 1 of the anime.
Okay.
When that came out, because Yellow actually follows the anime.
Yeah.
The cartoon, a lot more than the Red and Blue.
Yes.
Because you actually were able to get all the starters in Yellow and follow the team. Like you follow the game as Red and Blue as normal, but you had all the first starters to start with, and you also had the Pikachu. And the Pikachu was actually super strong.
Because Pikachu's like he's kind of irrelevant in Red and Blue, isn't he?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
I don't remember ever catching him in Blue, but
it was just a normal Pokemon, but it was the popularity of the cartoon made him the mascot for Yellow, and yeah, he was just overpowered. Well, I'm saying overpowered, but I mean he's powered up because obviously they wanted to emulate the cartoon.
He was a mascot boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But essentially, apart from that, it was sprite again. It's the same as when Blue. The sprites are tidied up and some game mechanics would change slightly, but it's essentially it is the same game. You just get all the starter Pokemon.
Same game. You start with Pikachu.
Yeah, actually, if anything, it's the same. It's actually, I think, right. It's based off Blue. So all the Pokemon that you can capture in Blue, you can capture in Yellow. So you still needed Pokemon Red to complete the Pokedex if that's what you were going for. So
all I remember with Pokemon Yellow is it's actually a harder game to begin with.
Yeah.
Because your first gym is against Brock, who's got rock Pokemon. And what attacks do nothing to rock Pokemon? Electricity. So I remember getting to that first gym with Pikachu thinking, I'm the big Donny Dosser here, I'm gonna sort this place out. And his Thundershock did nothing. And then he just stood there in front of a Geodude getting absolutely spanked. So my tactics was always to get the Mankey that you could always find in the nearby grass, and he could do what was the drop kick move or something. Yeah, it was super
low
effective.
Kick.
Yeah, low kick. Super effective, easy way.
Yep. But it's the same with Red and Blue. It's like, I always chose Charmander because Charmander is my boy, and he's fire.
Yep.
And fire is weak against rock.
Yep.
So there was no thing you had to get basically a Butterfree. Basically capture a Caterpie and evolve it to a Butterfree, so you could either put it to sleep or try and you couldn't poison a rock type Pokemon.
Yeah.
So you had to try and put them to sleep, so then you could swap your Pokemon and just chip for the 5 turns that it could be asleep.
They were always the worst fights. Whenever you had to just keep using tackle or scratch just to be able to do some amount of damage to a Pokemon.
Minimal amount of damage.
Like if you're fighting the world's toughest Metapod or something that just hardened all the time. And you just had to... that health bar would not go down.
Oh, God. Do you know what?
What's the basic premise of for those youngsters that don't know what Pokemon is? What is Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow?
You are a 10-year-old boy, and you are now able to... you're now able to go and have Pokemon, and you decide that you want to go and travel the land of Kanto and basically get Pokemon and evolve them and get stronger so you can battle all the 8 gyms and they all go on to the Elite Four and become the Pokemon champion.
Master.
Do you know what? For an RPG, it's actually quite a simple story. Essentially,
it's another game where the story's sort of not that important. I never thought about the story, to be honest.
It isn't.
But if you want to know more, you can delve into it.
It's just a basic premise. In times of you've got Final Fantasy, 4 and 6 on the SNES that are these big, massive, JRPG adventures. Chrono Trigger, yeah, it's just all story and everything means something and everything connects in every ways. Whereas this is just here, son, there's an animal that you can cockfight with, go and battle other people, murder their animals,
lock your
get
socks
stronger. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's literally it's a simple premise. There are some bits in and out throughout the game, little side things that you've got to do. Which sort of breaks it up between the gyms. But I mean, overall, it's just a really simple story. Is that you want to be the best? Go out, make yourself the best.
Yep.
And that, to be honest, that appealed to me quite a lot because there's not one set way path. See, with your Final Fantasies and that, you've got a linear path that you need to follow. You have the same characters every time you play the game. you find them at the same places, you do that, and you level them up and you battle the same way. Whereas with Pokemon, you've got 150 different characters, so you can have your first playthrough, and then you learn throughout that playthrough, and then when you play it the second time round, you're like, do you know what? I'm not going to have Charmander as my starter because it's harder at the beginning. But I'll take Squirtle and I'll swap someone else, and then all of a sudden you change your team and you've got a different team dynamic, and your game will play differently. You've got so many different options and permutations of teams, and that every majority of the playthroughs will be different. And that's what's so appealing. I mean, you still see people playing now on Pokemon doing these different game modes. I'm sure. Did you do it? The Nuzlocke. I'm sure you did a video where you started the Nuzlocke.
Did I?
Maybe. I'm sure you did. But there's the different rules. It's like, so you capture a Pokemon, and if your Pokemon faints, they're essentially they're dead.
Oh, so you can't use.
So you can't use them again. You have to let them go. And if it's a Pokemon that you've been training since the start of the game, and you spent all that time, getting them stronger, and then you essentially you care for them because you've got that bond.
I'm bad enough playing normally, let alone playing that way.
I'm sure you tried that once. I'm sure you did.
We did Pokemon battles on that website.
You did Pokemon battles with Steph.
That was funny. That was actually good. Entertaining. We need to do that again. That was a good laugh.
The competitive ones, yeah. But like I say, there's people that still, like I say, I'm going to do it with camping. God, how professional are we drinking beer? I think.
I've actually got water in a beer glass. I'm healthy. It's totally water.
Water.
Not what it says here. Not sponsor.
Is it fermented water?
Maybe,
is that what that is?
Maybe.
But like I say, people are like making all these different like game rules and stuff like that to play the game that's come out 25 years ago or whatever it is. And they're still playing different. Fair enough, it's like different. You're playing different generations, but you still people creating these ways to play the game differently than what it's initially. And that's just a testament to the game and fandom and blah 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 blah. So I mean, it's just. I'm going to gush on it. I'm going to keep on gushing.
You are going to keep gushing. I may have to stop you just so we can get to the fat fact.
Do fat fact, yeah.
But it is like, when you go back to it, because I can easily go back to it now and I'll still have a whale of a time. I probably won't stick to it like I used to, because there's just too many options now, and I don't really have the time to just I would spend hours just in my own little world on my Game Boy playing Pokemon, whereas now I can't do that anymore. And because I can just jump on some on the Xbox or some on the PlayStation, go on Marvel Snap on my phone, that's just more convenient. But there's no denying it's still a fun role-playing game, RPG. And I'm not a big RPG guy, to be honest, but it's such an easy pick up and play. Do a little bit, level up a couple of Pokemons, and then put it down, pick it up again. Yeah,
you just you work your way through Viridian Forest. 10-15 minutes if you want to battle everyone and get a couple of Pokemon. 10-15 minutes, right? Save done. You can come back to it again, go through to Pewter City or whatever. You can just do. You can do it in little chunks if you need to. Yeah. Well, hit me with these facts.
It's time.
Do the sign again.
Facts. Oh god, I keep pressing it too much. Right, so I've not actually properly looked into these. I just saw a website and it says it says 16 facts about Pokemon Red and Blue.
God.
And it's kind of done in a similar way to my Doom ones. It's giving me pictures.
Okay. Is it pictures? All right. Okay.
Yeah. The old man that blocks your path in Viridian City is actually a drunk.
Isn't the Japanese version? Yes.
In the Japanese version. In the original Japanese release of Pokemon Green, the NPC that stops you from progressing until you deliver Professor Oak's package tells you he was pretty drunk and that his head hurts. When the game was localized for English audiences, this was changed to an old man needing his morning coffee.
Morning coffee, yeah.
Yeah. there was almost no such thing as 100% accuracy. So there is a 1 in 256 chance to miss any move, even if they have perfect accuracy. The only exceptions were for moves that didn't check for accuracy, such as Swift and Bide.
Okay, didn't know that. Thing is, I mean, there was never any sort of accuracy thing on the moves that you had in the game. You know, if you had a move, it didn't tell you the power, it didn't tell you the accuracy. You know, there was no indication of what that was, and that was fixed in later games. So you never actually knew what it was anyway, because there's never a description. You just had a choice.
Yeah, you would just learn by playing as well that there were certain moves that you just couldn't hit, or you'd be the luckiest person on earth to hit certain moves or whatever. Trying to think, there was always one or two moves that I would always try. Like Supersonic would always piss me off because it would never work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get a Zubat and they Supersonic you, that's it, you're done for. But if you try and get someone else,
it just always either failed or it missed or whatever it would say. Annoying. The first Pokemon designed was Rhydon, apparently. Although far from the game's mascot or even a particularly popular Pokemon, that's a bit harsh, the powerful ground rock type was the first to be created, when Pokemon were going to be visually more dinosaur-like. Didn't know that. I'm not going to know much of this. You can bypass the need for the Sylph Scope entirely.
Ooh.
Didn't know that. Without a Sylph Scope to identify the ghost of Marowak at the top of Pokemon Tower, players shouldn't be able to rescue Mr. Fuji and progress through the game. By utilising a Pokédoll against the Restless Spirit, the player is able to skip the battle entirely and continue on.
Well, there you go. Fat facts.
Fat facts.
Learn something new every day.
Hold on. Fat facts. I did it. I pressed it too much again.
That's going to be your motto.
No. Just keep pressing. I'll be able to do a compilation at some point. I pressed it too much again.
I pressed it too much again.
Luckily, no one can see this side of the computer. They can't see the behind the scenes.
Liars on the house.
Fat facts. Mew was added to the game's code at the very last minute as a prank. After the debug features were removed for launch, it freed up 300 bytes of code, just enough to slip in a Pokemon that was inaccessible by normal means.
I don't think so. They wouldn't have made a sprite and everything like that for a prank. And also made it in the lore that it was, a Pokemon that scientists were after. I don't buy that one. I don't buy that
one. You could fit all the game developers into a minivan. It took 6 years.
7.
Well, this is only showing 5. But I think you're right. I did read somewhere that there's only 7. It took 6 years with a team of only 8 to bring the original game to life. By comparison, it took 100 individuals to make Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, an updated retelling of the first generation of games for the Nintendo Switch. One of the only recent ones I've bought. It's okay.
I'm debating whether to buy it.
It's okay.
I've always sat on the shelf. I'm thinking more for Flynn.
Yeah, for Flynn, it'll be sound. It'll be sound for Flynn. It's okay. I quite enjoyed
it. Got co-op as well, hasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Has it?
I think you can have one thing each and have co-op. Pretty sure.
One of the main gripes I've got with it is you can't start a new save. Yeah, I've been trying. I tried ages ago.
I noticed that on the new Pokemon, the Scarlet, when you think of the game, you just press A to start, so you press A. And it doesn't bring you a load screen, new game load or whatever. It doesn't just go straight into the game.
I think it's like a really complicated way to delete your save so you can start over. Because I hadn't played it for like a year or two, and I thought, I'll give it another bash because I did enjoy it and see how far I go, and I couldn't find a way to delete the save or start a new file. Anyway, that's conversation for another time.
Yeah.
You could cut your chance of a critical hit instead of boosting it. What? You could cut your chance of a critical hit instead of... The move Focus Energy and the item Die a Hit are intended to quadruple the critical hit rate. but they will quarter the chance instead.
To be fair, I never used their moves
That makes no sense to
those
me,
items. Yeah, I don't really tend to them, so that's
I've never heard of Diet Hit, and I would never use Focus Energy.
No, it's a waste of a move.
Pretty much. Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much. Blastoise was not originally the evolution of Wartortle. There was a more...
What?
Wow, there you go, Fat
What?
There was a more Wartortle-y design for Squirtle's final evolution, and even a baby Blastoise further down the Pokedex.
More Wartortle-y.
More Wartortle-y, that's what it says. At some point, these two ideas were merged, and Toetartle and Baby Blastoise were scrapped. Toetartle. Totartle.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, more Wartortle-y. I'm sorry, that's tickled me. Carry on.
Pikachu's rarity was due to its designer's favoritism. Atsuko Nishida, Pokemon designer, revealed it was her feeling of not wanting to let other people have Pikachu that led to its random encounters in Viridian Forest to be a mere 5%.
A bit shady, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit sad, to be honest.
To be fair, it never really impacted me because I always got a Pikachu, so I never used it.
And I didn't really care. Pikachu's not really my favourite.
Yeah.
The Psychic type was coded wrong, apparently.
Oh, the Psychic type was OP.
Oh, it was massive overpowered.
Way overpowered.
And I never utilised it that much. I think apart from Haunter, he was the only one I could ever...
you could learn Psychic, yeah.
Due to an oversight in Red and Blue's code, Psychic was immune to Ghost instead of being weak to it. This just helped Psychic types become overpowered in a generation where the only thing they were weak to was Bug, which had few, if any, good moves.
There weren't actually any Bug moves.
Bugs were pretty lame.
All you've got is Butterfree and Beedrill would be the only main Bug types. So and they were.
You can get them quite early on, and they're pretty lame.
Better love story than Twilight. Yeah, sorry, step saying the Butterfree story. It's a better love story than Twilight. It is.
There's a lot of stories better than bloody Twilight.
Man United being sold is a better love story than Twilight.
Oh, stop it. The smart AI actually handicapped NPCs. Computer-controlled trainers prioritize super effective moves over all others, even if they do not deal damage. This would often result in these trainers spamming non-damaging moves while you safely chipped away at their health.
I don't remember. There must be specific ones, but I don't ever remember it being noticeably bad.
No, I always thought the AI was pretty decent in Pokemon, and it had to be in this one because you're not battling other people, you're battling just a computer, aren't you? Paris's original name was a lot darker. Ooh. Never caught Paris. Yeah, couldn't care less about Paris, to be honest.
No. I don't think anyone's ever really caught Paris to use it.
No, just to add to the collection.
Yeah.
Paris and its evolution Parasect are based on insects that have been infected by a fungus called Massospora, which eventually takes over their brains and motor functions. Yep. Early promotional material for the game gives Paris a name in direct response to this relationship, Parasite. There we go.
There you go. I knew about that. I knew about the whole fungus thing because you can see
got
like when Paris has the mushrooms on, it's got his eyes have got eyeballs, but when he's Parasect, there's nothing there, just white.
Yeah, that's horrifying. The flying type was going to be much more specific. During development, bird type was meant to be attributed to airborne Pokemon, but was later changed to flying. You can see this in the game's code, with the glitch character Missing No being part bird and part normal. There you go. I've heard of Missing No.
Missing No. Oh my days.
The series
that is an urban legend.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about it or watching.
I used to do the Missing No thing all the time.
Did you?
Once I'd done what I needed to do, I was like, right, I'm just gonna Missing No the shit out of this game now.
Oh, you have to explain it then, because I don't remember.
I'll explain it.
We've only got 3 more.
Yeah.
The series was inspired by bug collecting. Shock horror.
Yep. Satoshi Tajiri.
Yeah, as a child, Pokemon's creator Satoshi Tajiri was so enamored by bug collecting, he wanted to become an entomologist before ultimately finding his love of video games. The idea behind the Pokemon games is a marriage of these 2 loves. Bless him.
That was good, eh?
The Dragon-type Pokemon was severely underpowered. Despite characters remarking on their fearsome strength, the Dragon-type was only given 1 offensive move, Dragon Rage, which could only do a set amount of damage, a paltry 40 HP.
40 HP, yep.
Wow. And number 1, the last one. Cubone's first introduction was even sadder. Jesus. Cubone has one of the more depressing backstories, often depicted wailing and alone, with the skull of its dead mother worn like a mask. This was more apparent with its original name, Orphan, basically leaving nothing to the imagination. Oh no!
Orphan, go!
Jesus.
God.
I caught an orphan! That's really like...
Oh, that's a tough one.
When you get to that stage of the game where you've got Cubone and stuff, they don't really pussyfoot around it either, do they? It's like he's wearing his dead mother's skull on his head, and he's sad and alone, and he's crying.
Yeah. The way he mourns is wearing his mother's skull.
Yeah,
lovely.
Have fun, kids.
Yeah, gotta catch 'em all.
Jesus, apparently so. Right, so those were the. Hold on, those were the. Facts. I took my time with that one, so. Right, because I actually genuinely want to know. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to the world what Missing No is?
Right. Okay. So Missing No there is on between. I'm trying to remember. It's on Seafoam Island. I'm sure it was Seafoam Island. There is a strip of where the sea and the land are. And I can't remember the specifics what you have to do anymore. But saying you had to do something. I think it's like if you put a certain item at the top for a certain Pokemon at the top of the party, you could clone items or Pokemon.
Okay.
So what I used to do was do it with rare candies.
Yeah.
So I would do the Missing No, and you swim up and down this strip of the land and the sea, and you would basically start a Pokemon battle, and it would be Missing No.
Okay.
And if it was there was other Pokemon as well, but if you got Missing No, it was either a strip, it's like a glitch of like an Articuno, but you only see like basically 2 sort of like rows of blocks, and it's all like messed up in that. And if you battle them and you defeat them or come out of the battle, you can clone essentially the items or the Pokemon that you've got. So you do that and you clone your items. It would always double your items to whatever you got. So 1 to 2, 2, 4, 8, blah 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 blah.
Okay.
And so you could easily rack up 100 rare candies. So you could take, say, like a Pokemon and you capture it for your Pokedex and just feed it rare candies till it level up to evolve to the next one, rather than you having to grind. Because essentially, once you beat the game, the only way you can level up is battling wild Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you got more experience battling
trainers,
the actual battles than you did wild Pokemon. So it would always take you longer. So there's points that I'd played the game where I was just like, I'm just going to do the Missing No to get the rare candies to do it. On my, I mean, I've played. I must have restarted Pokemon 50, 60, 70 times. Oh yeah. I'd do it and then I'd restart and do it again and do it again. But my last save, God bless its soul, it's probably gone now. As I was working through the Pokedex and getting a Pokemon, so like 1 Charmander, 1 Charmeleon, 1 Charizard, all the way up to level 100. And I'd battle the Elite Four, because you could beat the Elite Four with 3 Pokemon. So it was Mewtwo, Zapdos, and I want to see Charizard. I can't remember the third one. So I would basically have them at level 100, and I'd bring 3 Pokemon with me, and just go through the Elite Four again and again and again, so I could basically level up, put them in, so they get like experience points, take them out, and then battle with the Mewtwo or whatever, so they get half the experience points of the battle, and then it would just rack them up, and I would just do it till they got to level 100. And I'm pretty sure I must have through about 60, 70 Pokemon. That I'm on my last save, and I kind of like just didn't get bored. I've just ended up playing something else and completely forgot to go back. But that save's probably long gone by now, because I mean the battery's probably rusty to death and fucking turned to dust or something. But again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's the way that you can play the game. You just play the game so many different ways, can't you? And that was one of the things I wanted to do, and was doing it. So yeah.
I always remember being told by a lad that don't use rare candies to level up your Pokemon, because you don't get the stat boost you would normally get if you just battle with them.
Yeah. That so as far as I'm aware, in generation 1 and 2, that was the case. Yeah. So you would get 6 points when you level up, and it's spread between the different categories. And so if you used a rare candy, you'd get 4.
Okay.
So you're missing out on 2 points per level.
Yeah.
And obviously, over the course of 10, 20, 30 levels, you've lost out on a lot of attribute points. So yeah, that was a thing. It's definitely a thing that you could.
What's the strategy then with the rare candy? Is it like you did just to evolve them?
It's literally, I always use them to just, if I had a Pokemon that I wanted to level up, I would use it rather than sitting there, put it in a battle, taking it out of a battle, doing the battle so they get half the experience points. It was literally just a case of, I need to get him up 6 levels. I've got 10 rare candies, use the 6 just to get him up. Once he's done, pop him in the Pokemon box. That is literally the reason you need to use rare candies. You know what I mean?
Because I remember when I got told that, I basically just stopped. I would pick up a rare candy and just go, I've been told not to use them, so I won't use them. Whereas like when I first played the game, you get the rare candy, this levels up your Pokemon. Whoa,
again. The first time I played it, I did the exact same thing. I was like, oh wow, this gets you up on level, awesome.
You're gonna use
and I was doing it left, right, and center. Yeah, and it wasn't until you get a word of mouth and that you shouldn't be doing it. Then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's quite crafty that it doesn't tell you. It's like it obviously shows you the stats. When you level up your Pokemon with a rare candy, it'll say, boop, upgraded. But you're not really gonna notice. That's not as much as I should be getting for this Pokemon.
Yeah.
It was different for every Pokemon, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the name of the spooky place?
Lavender Town.
Lavender Town. Is that one of the most horrifying? Music. Yeah, is that one of the most horrifying locations?
It's horrific. Yeah, and the version that we got is actually better than the original version as well.
Is it?
See, like the Japanese version, it was just, it's a certain tone, isn't it? Is it like it's like a death tone or death note or something that it plays?
Because I think it's quite funny that they keep trying to make out like kids committed suicide because of this.
Well, that's the thing. That's the urban legend, isn't it? Is that certain tone played repetitively made kids go a bit.
It's a horrifying sound. I'll give it that. It does make you want to kill yourself.
You don't want to be there, do you?
It's ear piercing. It's horrible. But
I ended up playing that whole part of the game with the sound off.
Yeah, there's no need for it.
Oh, it was horrible. I know.
But it's not like it's like a weirdly catchy tune because it's very
That's
simple.
The thing
isn't it? It's only
a
few tones and then it repeats and it repeats and it repeats. But it is just like it's an ear-piercing sound, and it's really eerie and creepy.
I mean, I heard that the U.S. Army, when they were like waterboarding people, were playing that in the background as well. So just as a extra form of torture.
I wouldn't blame them. But I always like going there because it's where I got my Haunter, and that's all I cared about. I got my Haunter, best Pokemon ever.
Yeah.
And
I'm just trying to think like the areas in the game. I mean, you've got start on Pallet, up to Viridian, where you get to, that's the last gym, into Pewter with Baroque Brock. And at the Science Museum, you had the Science Museum in Pewter City, where you had the rockets and stuff like that, which I always thought was cool. We had to pay every time you go in.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I thought that was a bit thingy. As a kid, I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to go to the museum. And I would go, and I would come back later and just be like, sure, I'm going to go to the museum again. And then we're going to pay again. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting all my money. Why? You've already been here like 17 times. Jesus Christ.
You soon rack up the quiche in that game, though.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you get to the casino. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that was another like unofficial fact. That I was reading, that the original release of the game, Peggy rated it a 3, but then when it got a re-release on the virtual console, whatever that would have been, the Wii or something, or 3DS or something, they had to rate it 12 because of gambling.
Because of the gambling, yeah.
Which
and now the law is that the gambling, you can't have it in games. So technically, I mean, Pokemon, could be a banned game.
Naughty boys.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
I think every Pokemon game up until probably, I want to say, it's definitely in the first 3 gens. I can't remember if it's in the 4th. But there's always a casino.
It was always like a really fun part for me. I used to like getting to the casinos and just.
Well, that's the only way you got Porygon as well, as in the casino. You had to rack up the points. Yeah, that's the only way you could get Porygon. Points. Yeah.
Obviously, I never got him.
Porygon. Like he's one of my favorites. Like Porygon, he's totally useless. Like, it was just a normal Pokemon, but it was cool as fuck. Yeah.
Oh, he looked smart. He looked, he was different.
He honestly looks the part. And it's like, if Pokemon were real, because that's what me always Steph always joke about. Because like we love Pokemon, Flynn loves Pokemon. But my God, if Pokemon were real, like what Pokemon would you have in your house? And I'm like, 100%, I'd have a fucking Porygon. Like just sat right here. Do you know what I mean? Just floating, twirling his little legs about. Like, that's what I'd have. I'd love a Charizard. Charizard, I'll be fine. I'll be fine with a Charizard. I don't care. But he's never coming out the ball unless I'm out of battle. But give me fucking Porygon. You sit there, son. Just be quiet. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you want like a Charizard or something, he's gonna fill the room, isn't he? He's probably gonna be as big as your house, isn't he?
You can't really have him in the house, can you?
Yeah. Because like as much as I love a Haunter, I don't think I'd have a Haunter roaming around the house. I just think
you just imagine he's going back behind the wall behind you with his 2 hands, like.
Yeah. Just playing the games here, and he's like pokes up over the telly.
Just poke comes out the screen.
Piss off for you. I don't know. I couldn't be asked to like a Pikachu or anything like that.
No.
I can't have any of the ones that everyone loves. I've got to be different.
Yeah.
I like a Hitmonlee. I could chill out with a Hitmonlee.
That would be cool, actually. Having a wee little fight with a Hitmonlee and a Hitmonchan. Yeah.
You just see me with big black eyes. me and Lee been scrapping, bro.
I'd take a jab from a Hitmonchan. Easy. Bust my neck.
Both named after Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, though.
Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, yeah.
Facts. For those that don't know.
Facts. Click the thing, please.
Even though... Fact. Oh, I pressed it too much. It's stuck. I don't know. It doesn't let me just go rapid. I want to go rapid with it, but it doesn't let me.
Oh, God.
I might just have to make a video.
That's what you need to do. Right, well, what else can we talk about? Battling. The battling is a simple affair. You have 4 moves for every Pokemon that you own.
Limited amount of uses, which pissed me off with certain moves. The PP.
Yeah, the power points. But the thing is, it's not the first game to have that included. I'm sure there's Final Fantasy one that has
to my knowledge,
you can only use a move a certain amount of times to make it fair.
Yeah, I always say I'm no RPG expert, I'm no JRPG guy, but every time you see like footage of something, they all look the same. They all have the one on each side battling or whatever, and then you've got your list of few moves. You can use them a certain amount of time. You got your health bar.
It's your magic, your mana. You have so much you can do, and you can do so many spells. And once that's gone, that's it.
Yeah,
you've got to do your physical attacks, and it's the same principle. The stronger the move that has,
less PP. So like your moves like tackle and that, you've got 30 because they do fuck all. Whereas like your fire blast, you get 5 because it does absolutely mad damage.
Hydro pump was the move for me.
Hydro pump. See, I do hydro pumps every night.
We don't want to know about that. Thank you very much.
We call them the Dutch oven in the Finnegan household.
Prepare for the hydro pump.
Daphne, prepare thyself.
Oh my days! Back to battles.
Gosh, she's gonna batter me for that one.
Hydro pumps.
The hydro pumps. Oh, she's sitting there, her headphones totally oblivious. It's amazing. But so your battles, your Pokemon are all generally got a triangle of. It's like rocks as a paper. It's essentially it works out. Most of them have these sort of like rocks as a paper elements, and you've got your some that are in between, and affect other types in different ways. So that in itself was amazing to learn as well. Your first sort of like playthrough. Water is super effective against rock, but then so is grass. Do you know what I mean? But like grass is super effective against water.
Yeah.
And there's all like these little everything's like linked in that sort of way. And learning when you're first playing through the gyms, finding the weakness in that was amazing. I thought that was such a clever way of doing the battles, because if everything was the same type and everything was doing the damage, it's literally you just pick whatever.
Really boring. Yeah.
Yeah. You just pick your 6 favorite ones and you just go through the game.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're having this type, you have to be sort of like not tactical, but sort of you've got to know who you're going up against to have some form of strategy.
Yeah.
As you're going through the game and you find Joe Blogs or whoever it is, like the kid with the fucking shorts and the
bug catcher.
The bug catcher guy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's
you know what you're in for, don't you?
Yeah. And they generally and they all follow like the same sort of curve around the map of the same Pokemon type.
Yeah, whatever town you're in or whatever, like say you're in is it Cerulean City with Misty?
Misty.
So you tend probably not the best example, but you would tend to get water types or whatever. Whereas I think in that area you do actually have bug catchers everywhere. But
you have but there you've got
to follow a trend.
Yeah, but it's a pattern because like they all have similar sort of Pokemon.
Yeah.
So if you find a Pokemon that's good in that area, you can level that Pokemon up quite quickly, battling the normal the NPCs. And so when it comes to the gym, you've got a Pokemon that's actually really good for the next gym or a gym further down the line. And as you get to the next area, into the caves or whatever, all of a sudden you've got rock Pokemon and that. So your water Pokemon's going to be, or a grass Pokemon, and you will always have some form of Pokemon in your team that's going to be effective in whatever area that you're in. Which I always thought was just it's amazing sort of like mechanic to the game, because again it goes back to you could play this game however way, how many ways you want it. If you want to be a sadist and have non-effective Pokemon that have non-effective moves or do very little and want to really grind it out and make it hard for yourself, on you go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If that's what you want to do. Me personally, I want to make things as easy as I can, so I always used to rotate. And you use your advantages to your advantage essentially, to make sure you got through the game. The gyms, I never particularly thought. There's only one particular gym that annoyed me, and that's Lieutenant Surge, where
pressing the
electric switches. Yeah. See, the puzzles on most of the gyms
are fine.
They're all right. They're good. They had a bit of like a puzzle element, and it's But see that's blind luck.
It's
100%. It's blind luck.
It is stupid. It's basically there's like about 20 odd trash cans or whatever they would have been in the game. All but you can walk in between them all. And then it's essentially find the first switch and then switches 2 and 3 will be near it or
Yeah.
something, and you've got
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
If you miss one, it resets it or something.
Sets everything,
Yeah,
and you've got to start
and
again.
it's total random every time.
Yeah.
Until you find that first switch, and then the 2 and 3 will be around it. It was stupid. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
It was just.
I know.
It was just. It wasn't so much a puzzle. It was just like an.
It's luck. That one was pure
it was
luck.
just unnecessary frustration. There was no.
You're playing the odds essentially. Once you find that first one, right? That's cool. You've got 1 in 8 chance because you've got the cans around you that it's going to be one of them. Unless you're on the edges or the corners,
You
you're
might
going to be
luck out a
super
little
lucky.
bit.
Yeah. But you've got 1 in 8 chance, and then you do that, and then all of a sudden you've got 1 in 7 chance. And it's like, excuse me, it is bad. I think that's bad game design. But for that particular gem, Lieutenant Surge himself I thought he was quite a hard battle.
Yeah.
Because his Raichu was super bloody powerful.
Yeah, the tough Raichu.
Yeah, it's tough. And at that point, there's no general Pokemon apart from a rock Pokemon. Electric would affect most at that point. And that's the third gym in the game, in most of your team. A Thunderbolt from a Raichu, it's gonna do fairly decent damage.
Yeah.
Unless you had a rock Pokemon, which, to be honest, Misty, battling Misty, it's gonna be your rock Pokemon can be weak against it. Do you know what I mean? So you're not really gonna grab one and train it up.
No.
For the sake of Misty, where you're gonna get absolutely battered.
Because right before Surge as well, I don't think you have to do it, but it's one of my favorite parts of the game is going on that boat, the SS Anne, whatever it's called.
Oh, the SS Anne, yeah.
Where you're fighting water Pokemon, all the sailors with their whatever water Pokemon they all have.
I love the pose where they're like that, like touching the muscles, like bloody big Papa
proper, Popeye the Sailor Man. So you have a load of fights on that ship with all this water types, and then you fight your rival, whatever you name him. I tended to name him Bum or something like that because I'm funny. Ball bag.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of that game. In all fairness to the designers, name your enemy. Not bad.
Not bad.
You end up having a fight with him, and he's got his random batch of.
Yeah.
That was always one of the things that annoyed me, and I know it has to be done, but when you pick your starter Pokemon at the start, you get your Squirtle, and he will go for the Venusaur, won't he?
Yeah. The strongest one.
He will go for the one that's strongest against you. It's annoying, but it's kind of fair, isn't it? Because it's encouraging you to go and collect others to beat that Venusaur.
To beat him. Yeah. And I see, like, after calling him Knobhead and Ballbag and wherever, I just kept him as Gary because after the cartoon, like I loved Gary in the cartoon, so I ended up naming him Gary. Yeah. But like he was also the incentive as well is to get a diverse team.
Yeah.
Because his team would end up being diverse.
He would get a good team.
Yeah. And I always found that he always came like in the most inappropriate moment where you've just done something.
You'd have already had a battle of some kind. You'd be weak.
Yeah, and I need to get to the Pokemon gym. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you just rock.
Here comes Gary.
What's happening to her? And you're just like, fuck it out. You know what I mean? But having that rival I think it was an absolute genius move as well. It gave you another incentive to go out and do what you might need to do.
Because you'd always turn up at these gyms, the third gym or fourth gym, and then you'd read the plaque or whatever, and it would already say,
he's already been there.
And it's sort of like, oh, if he's won it, I'm going to win it as well. Step aside.
Yeah.
Did you ever nickname your Pokemon?
So, not originally, until I found out. See, on Pokemon Stadium, when you could import your Pokemon through the transfer pack, if you nicknamed your Pokemon, it would change the color. It would affect the color of the Pokemon in game. Yeah. So instead of like Charizard being like
red,
orange, if you call him like Bumazard or something like that, it'd be like slightly pink, or do you know what I mean? And so if you named it differently, it would change the thing. So only up until that point where I realized that was a thing, I think the only one I ever nicknamed was Magikarp, and I would always call him Magicrap.
You creative genius.
Without fail, Magicrap. So when he was a Gyarados, it was Gyarados the Magikarp the Gyarados. And I must have, but everyone, all the other Pokemon, I never really did until Pokemon Stadium. But even then, it wasn't really like smart nicknames. It was like literally just changing like either one letter, or putting crap or bum or something in it. Pika Bum or wherever, Squirtle Bum or just something stupid like that. More for the fact of I wanted to see how that nickname affected that Pokemon's color in Stadium.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you have any particular ones?
I never really did the nickname thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I quite like, they are what they are. If I got a Squirtle,
that's to me. Squirtle's a Squirtle.
That is his name, so I'm not gonna name him Trev, and then because it would annoy me. I'd go into my my Pokemon's page, and there'd just be a Trev there, and then most of the time, especially in Red and Blue, with that tiny little icon next to the name, you can't bloody tell what Pokemon it is. So if you'd not played for 2 weeks or something, you jump back on it. Who's Trev again? Which one's Trev? Is that my Geodude?
Yeah.
is that my Pikachu?
You had your Rhydon sort of like sprite, a bird sprite, a bug sprite, seal type sprite, the like a Voltorb circle sprite,
just the ball,
just the ball. I can't remember what the other ones are.
And that's the thing. I don't think it was until later games when they actually started. Made like
I think Gen
advancements of
4 or 5 they started the actual doing sprites for each Pokemon.
So it'd be sort of different then, but it's like it's easier for me to just know Squirtle, Pikachu, Charizard.
Yeah. There's actually a gym in Pokemon Scarlet that as you're going up to it, it's like in a big like sort of like Colosseum bit, and on the wall as you're going around are those symbols from Red and Blue, or those sprite symbols as you go around, which I always thought was quite a nice little nice touch. Like a retro touch, that's quite cool. When we were going up there, and it's just like got hit with that nostalgia of this is amazing. I'm saying to Flynn, this is what my Pokemon looked like when I was a kid. Like proper old dad mode. And Flynn's just like, they're not even real Pokemon. They don't look like nothing.
How dare you, son?
That's the point, son. They look like nothing. Well, I'm trying to think what else can we go talk about? Oh God, the cities are fine. They're all different. They're all unique. Cerulean City with the casino was amazing, and you had the big shopping complex thing. Never really went in there. Never really bought anything. I never actually tended to use my money, to be honest, apart from buying Pokeballs.
I would always nosy at the moves, the TMs.
The moves,
One of the things that did really annoy me about the game was the HMs. Because you couldn't unlearn them. Yeah,
once you've learned it, So I used to always have this scrub Pokemon for that. Who was it? Is it Clefairy? There's a Pokemon early on. He needed to learn Flash.
Yeah. And the amount of times I did that cave without using Flash because I could not be asked teaching a Pokemon Flash. Because, I'd get like a Jigglypuff or a Drowsy or something just for Flash. Yeah. And it just annoyed me having a throwaway Pokemon that I had no intention of using. So I would get through that cave in the dark.
You used to do the wall thing where you just hit left and you hit a wall, donk, and you hear the noise and then just go up, donk, right, donk, down, donk.
Yeah, until I found the next room, and I would keep doing that. I did it.
Every now and again you're walking and you just see someone just walk over to you at the start of the battle and you're like, no, I don't want this right
At always the most inopportune times, they would do it.
And the 1,000 Zubats on the way.
Whereas now, playing it now, I would get that throwaway Pokemon. I would learn Flash because it saves so much time.
To be honest, in the game, the past few generations, you don't need. They've got rid of them.
Yeah, good, because that's probably one of the worst parts of it, to be honest. I mean, if a Pokemon has Scratch, then why does it need to learn Cut? It's the same ruddy move.
Pretty much. I mean, of the five, you've got Surf, Strength, and Fly.
Fly is
those three are the best. Your Cut and your Flash are just
pants.
Yeah, you don't need them really. Fair, you need Cut and the Overworld.
Yeah,
quite a lot because of chopping the trees on the way down. But
that's
Flash,
what's annoying about it. You need Cut.
Yeah,
you need Cut, but it's a crap move.
I know. I actually got rid of Vine Whip and thingy of Cut because it was the same thing.
Vine Whip is like a top tier move as well.
Oh, I know it is. Yeah, and you've got Razor Leaf in that. And I was like, oh, which one's better? And it's like, well, at least with Razor Leaf, it's like Firing Leaves. I've not got the two same slashy moves. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was tough. Made the game.
One of my favourite parts of the game was the Safari.
The Safari Zone.
It's just it was a bit daft because it's just like go roaming, find a Kangaskhan, and just throw some rocks at it, feed it some food, lob a ball at it, it'll run away, move on to the next one.
Next one. Food, entice it, go to throw a Pokeball, but press rock instead and whack it in the head and piss it off.
I never fathomed, when to use a rock, when to use the bait.
Neither did I.
Never caught a Kangaskhan. That was always my intention. I want that big bugger that looks like a massive kangaroo.
But it was a useless fucking Pokemon anyway.
Was it?
It's a normal type. Yeah, it's a normal type.
It looks so cool though.
Useless.
It looks cool.
See when you had the Mega Evolution a couple of generations back, and you could like Mega Evolve certain Pokemon. That Kangaskhan was one of them, and the little baby in the pouch would come out.
All right.
And like its ability would be like any moves that it does double the moves. Because both of them
were doing
the move, which I thought was quite smart.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the only real good thing Kangaskhan's ever done. Ever. It's just a normal Pokemon. It's fine. Apart from in Pokemon Snap. When you're taking the pictures out of it, it's pretty cool. Because you've got to throw the thing in. If you hit it with an apple in its head, like he's like rolls at you like. But I mean, other than that, Kangaskhan's done sweet FA this whole ever since it was made. It's done nothing. It's done a shite Pokemon.
That's disappointing because I spent so many years trying to catch a Kangaskhan, never did.
I'm sorry to shit on your Pokemon quest, but it's useless.
How often did you get Mewtwo?
Every time.
Every time. I don't even think I got him once. I remember finding him.
You get a Master Ball. If you
is that a guaranteed? Is that a guarantee?
It's 100% guarantee. Yeah.
Oh, is it a Master Ball? See, I didn't know that because I always think I might have caught him then once and just used him.
I've caught him with just like an Ultra Ball, just because it's like once you play it through, it's like it's just easy just using a Master Ball. Do you know what I mean? It's like whereas you want a bit of a challenge, but because he's a psychic Pokemon and he's OP, like he can wreck shit. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of sometimes do just have to use the Master Ball.
But I only ever remember once finding him. And when you find him, it's like, oh my god, I found Mewtwo. What's going on here?
See, like the legendaries, like finding the legendaries in this game. Like when you found them, it was a big fucking thing because I mean they were hidden.
Yeah, they were.
Do you know what I mean? They were. Yeah. It's like you've got the electric plant for Zapdos, which is like it's in the top corner, but it's in a path where the path goes down. And there's a verge of grass and a bit of water that you can swim and go around to.
Yep.
And it's like, you would never know it's there. Do you know what I mean? Unless you go exploring. And then when it's there, it's full of electric Pokemon and it's a big giant maze inside a factory. And he's there in the middle. And it's like, at that point, you're like, oh, all my Pokemon have been wrecked. So you got to go back and then you find out that he's level 50 and you can't capture him at that point. So you have to get stronger and then go back to him at a later date, so that finding him first was awesome. And then Articuno in Seafoam Island, it's like right at the bottom of the thing, and the only way you find it is by dropping down certain holes in a certain order. And then you get down to the bottom and you swim, you can see him in a little island and get to him. And again, you're just like level 50, like Do you know what I mean? Then never at any point apart from Moltres. Moltres is the only one because he was on Victory Road, and at that point you've beaten all 8 gyms, so you are strong enough, you know, to get to him and capture him. But even then, like Victory Road itself was an absolute like it was so hard because it's full of like every Pokemon in there, it's rock or you know it's a strong Pokemon, you know, and it does take you know you have to like retreat out of there a couple of times to make sure you heal and you know get all your potions back. And when I got him there, and I was like on the first time through, and like the first time finding him, I was like, it was amazing. Oh my god, this is great. This is Moltres. You know, a flying Pokemon, and the first thing you do is come against a rock, and it's like super effective, and just wipes him out in one go. You're just like,
worth it.
That's why Moltres is like I think Moltres is like a beautiful design Pokemon, but like out of the 3. Is the worst. I hate him. He's the worst because of that first initial thing of capturing him and just getting wiped in the first fucking move of the next battle.
That's all you'll ever think about.
That's all. That's it. And like in the last generation, they gave all the birds different forms as well. And like he's got like this dark sort of like he's all dark and you know and pink and flames and stuff like that. And he looks cool. And I just looked at him and I was like, as much as you look cool, I don't want you. I don't want to capture you. You're the worst. I mean, I still caught him because obviously I want one of every Pokemon. But I was just like, I just reluctantly had to have him. I was like, no, I don't want you anymore. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fine. Oh, I'm not going to look at you though.
Yeah. Once I've caught you, you're getting put in a safe. You'll be there forevermore. I'll never see you again.
Alone. No one wants you.
But so you've got them, and then you finish the game. You're the champion, and then someone's like, right, go to the cave in Cerulean, and you're just like, cave?
Yeah,
there was a cave. Didn't know that. And then you find it, and again it's like absolute rock hard Pokemon inside it, and then you get to the end and you see Mewtwo, and I was just like,
it's cool, yeah.
Oh, it is cool. It is so cool. It's like only you were strong enough to go in here. Do you know what I mean? And you're just like, this is it. I am worthy of this battle. And then you just get absolutely nailed because he's a psychic type. So yeah. But I mean, I thought the legendary. I loved all 4 of them. You know what I mean? And then you still used to get the school rumors in school of being able to find Mew.
Yeah.
You know, because like Mew was throughout the whole game. You had sort of like the scientists had like all these notepads on Mew, and you know he was spotted in Mexico, and someone got like a strand of his fur, and then that's how they duplicated and cloned Mewtwo to make him trying to duplicate Mew. And so the rumors say that obviously they talk about him. He must be in the game.
Yeah.
And he was an exclusive giveaway in Japan. That's the only legitimate way you could have gotten.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you said about the fact about him being a thing, yes, I didn't buy that one. But you get the rumors where you've got to like see where SS Han is the ship. You've got the little truck, and it's like someone's like, oh, you've got to do strength like 40 times and push the truck. And if you push the truck, it'll unlock something, and then you go to here, and you've got to battle this person 3 times. Even though you can't, once you battle the person, that's it. You can't rebattle them. But if you do the truck, you can battle this person 3 times. And if you battle him and go to this patch of grass, you'll get Mew. And it is like
so nothing convoluted then.
Oh no, not at all. No. And do you know what it is? None of them are real. And so it's only come out like a couple of years ago that there is a legitimate way to get Mew, but it's tricking the game.
Right.
So you have to trick the game into do it. And again, it's actually a convoluted way of doing it. But you can legitimately catch Mew in your game, but you're not technically supposed to. But it's not like the school kid rumors of pushing the truck and stuff like that.
I'd rather hear the school kid rumors, to be honest. They're always more
exciting. There's hundreds. It's like if you beat Giovanni with just a Pikachu, he comes and just kidnaps him, and you're just like, no, you're like, shut up. That's not a real thing. You know what I mean? But just kids made stupid stuff up. Just, you know what I mean? Because it was a phenomenon, and every kid had or at least played Pokemon. Do you know what I mean? Then people would just make
definitely
shit
back when we were younger, everyone played
yeah,
Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say that. I mean, I got my Pokemon in from America, and you got a flicker there.
Didn't I?
I know.
Lights gonna go out again. Blackout.
I know. Blackout time. My best mate's younger brother, he actually got copies of the Japanese version, the re-release Red and Blue, and he'd playing it on the Game Boy, and I was going around. We were watching him. The three of us would sit around his Game Boy, and he would play through it. And obviously, it's all in Japanese. We didn't really know what was going on, but we knew that this was going to be like the next sort of like big game, just by watching him playing it. And it's like, soon as Forbidden Planet got the copies from America, we were like, we need this game. We need to get it now. Yeah, we're getting this now. We're getting the American version before anyone else. And then the school, and I mean, I've told the story about me selling my SNES and all my games and everything to buy Pokemon Red and a Game Boy, and this was it. Do you know what I mean? We really needed this game. The three of us, we wanted these games, and we would finish school Friday, and I would go home, and I would get changed, and the three of us would sit in his bedroom playing Pokemon. Like, and we would like from 4:00 on a Friday till 10:00, watch the wrestling, finished at 12, back to playing Pokemon till about 4 a.m, go to bed, get up about 10, play Pokemon from like 10 till 4:00 the next morning on Sunday morning, go to bed, do the same thing on Sunday, and then at that point my mum and dad would be like on the phone like, can you send Nick home? He's got school, but that's what we did. Like and then every day after school, finish school, go home, 4:00, 4 till 10, Pokemon. And we must have done it together, 3 hours together for like 2-3 years. And it was literally just Pokemon, nothing else, just Pokemon. And we would like race each other to see who could get all the 8 badges. We'd battle each other, and we'd make little leagues and stuff like that, and we'd make rules for each other that, you can have like this set of Pokemon and you can have that, and we'll battle, and we make all these rules and stuff together. And by the time that like the cartoon came around and everyone else, Alexa, stop.
Oh dear.
Randomly. By the time like everyone else got on the bandwagon, like we pretty much had like ran this thing to death. But when everyone else started getting into it, it's like we were winding down, but then all of a sudden we were just kind of like picked back up again because everyone else was getting on it. And we were just like, right, okay, this is cool, and because we played it so much, like when people were talking about it, we were like, oh yeah, no, you do this and then. And all of a sudden we were just like the kids to know, knew everything about Pokemon. We were the ones, and it's like, oh mate, I'm stuck on this bit. What do you do? Oh, well, you just do this. And it was just that sort of like couple of year period was amazing, because everyone was in the whole Pokemon thing together. You know what I mean? It's like the cards came out, the cartoon came out, and it's like it branched and became this absolute multimedia empire. It wasn't just a video game anymore. It was a community. Like every kid wanted in on it. Every kid was welcome in on it, and and that just throughout the whole country, throughout the whole world, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It took everything by storm.
It still is massive, isn't it? It's not as big as what it used to be, but
no. But it's funny saying that because like the Pokemon World Championships were on a couple of months back, and it was in London, and it's like one of the things I was like, I actually would always love to go. Do you know what I mean? To go and watch the competitive sort of like battling between people from all across the world and that. But they streamed it, and I'd sat there and watched it streamed, and I've done it before, and I've done it a couple of times before, and it's amazing that this game that came out 25 years ago had this massive cult following, and it still has this sort of like, you can just see like young kids, they've got like your adult tier, your sort of like mid tier, and you've got kid tiers, and it's like kids that are like 8 to 10 battling, they've become champions in their countries and that, and now they're battling other people across the world, and like it's still amazing to see that this thing is still going, and it's go. Fair enough, it's not as the phenomenon it used to be, but it's still bloody strong.
It's
still
it's the merchandise and that now, isn't it? That's where it's, whereas back then it was about the games, you had the anime, but whereas now it's just, I think people just like a Pikachu plushie, they like the T-shirts, they like the whatever, that's
I mean,
just what it's
I've
become,
got plenty of Pokemon shirts upstairs. Like
it is a franchise, isn't it? And people want the merch and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was similar, with my Game Boy and that, because I wasn't a huge gamer growing up. We had I had the Mega Drive with a few games on it. I had Sonic and that. I had a PlayStation with Resident Evil and but I was never I was happy with what we had. My dad would get some games and I would just play them and I'd be happy. It'd keep me occupied. But Pokemon was probably the first game where I was borderline addiction, where you just couldn't stop playing it. You wanted to keep leveling up. You wanted to find more Pokemon. You wanted to get those gyms done, and it was just, me and my cousin every weekend, we'd meet up. I'd have my chunky yellow Game Boy. He'd have his chunky grey one, and we would just be sat there, chilled as anything, having a laugh with each other, showing each other our Pokemon games, playing Pokemon non-stop. I think it might have been his copy of Blue that I got then, because he must have had Blue and I had Yellow, and then he must have given me Blue, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, it was that was the weekend then. We'd meet up.
We'd go. Our weekend was just total Pokemon. It was
just
all from the
filled.
Smash Brothers for a couple of hours in between, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Just to break it up a little bit.
It was just us on the Game Boy. We'd play a bit of Nintendo 64, a bit of GoldenEye, maybe, bit of Duke Nukem 64. But then majority, before bed, because it's so convenient, you get into bed. Although you had to be facing the light and everything.
Oh, see, we were posh. We had the lights that you could stick on the side.
Oh, see, we were that posh.
I mean, it wasted your battery twice as quick, but I mean, I could see Pokemon on the dark.
Yeah, I was like this. We were like this in bed. But no, I do miss those days. When you just reminisce about the old days, because it's just playing games
that's the thing.
The same now.
Yeah, this and future generations will never have that sort of.
Everything's so convenient now.
Everything. Everything's all backlit now, and all the screens
colourful,
are OLED and
beautiful graphics.
They're not like us, sitting, 3 of us crammed next to each other with a cable joining us all together, so we can battle or trade or whatever. You can do all that online now, and
it's so convenient. It's so easy to do.
Yeah, and it's funny too. When I was thinking about this earlier, when I was just thinking about what I'm going to say and stuff, and it's there's never been sort of a cultural phenomenon since this, apart from potentially the MCU, the phase 1 to 3, where everyone experienced this together. Do you know what I mean? We all felt the same thing together, and the kid, and just like you say, just sitting in bed with a torch or whatever, playing under your covers when you should be in bed, sneaking in games and stuff I'll just do another battle. You know what I mean? You're sneaking it in, and if the kids they're not going to have that same sort of experience, and it's a shame, because I think that those sort of memories that we've got, make us the kind of adults that we are today. Because you appreciate, we appreciate the stuff we've got now.
Oh, big time.
You know what I mean? Because we didn't have that. Whereas kids and that today, they're never going to experience it because they've got all the good stuff right now. What have they got to look forward to in terms of
that's
better?
The thing. Obviously, we didn't know any better back then. Back in the 90s, the games you had were just the games you had. That was the technology of the time, and that's what they could do. Pokemon was the best you could get on that Game Boy. There is arguably no better game on the Game Boy, and it's not it's nothing overly complex. It is literally slow-paced, trotting around, talking to people, fighting your little monsters, your little pocket monsters, getting them buff, and moving on. And that's the whole game. And it's the best game that came out on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that it could get better than that. You know.
Because to us at that time, that's the best fucking thing we ever had.
And then we got, obviously now, 20 plus years later, we've now seen the evolution of that standard to what you're getting now, which is pretty much lifelike realism, super smooth, buttery graphics,
Well, if it's not 60 frames a second, it's not worth it, Liam.
I know. Jesus Christ.
Your eyes can only see 24 frames a second, so I don't know what it's going to do with the other 36.
Science. Right, before we bombard ourselves with science, we need to score the Pokemon.
Go on then.
Slag time.
Call me maybe one more time.
Ooh. Would you like to begin the scoring for Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow?
So we never actually specifically talked about. I've forgotten Pokemon Yellow. You can get a Pikachu that learns Surf from Pokemon Stadium if you did a mini game.
Can you?
And if you got a Pikachu that did Surf, you didn't need Squirtle. But anyway, that's it. Right, let me think. It's tough because.
Well, I know my score. Do you want me to just give my score quickly?
Yeah, you hit me with yours.
I'm going to be quite generous. I think I'm being quite generous because it is a big part of my childhood. I'm going to give it 875,000.
You know what? I will go with that as well.
Yeah, 875.
875.
8.75.
So essentially, 875 is the total.
It's as good a game as you are going to get on a handheld console, still, ever to this day.
Gold, Silver, and Crystal Bear.
Oh yeah, I don't know because I haven't played. These are the only Pokemon games I've played.
To me, that is the better game. That is the better game. But so comparatively, Red and Blue at the minute is a grind fest. You have to grind. There is so many Pokemon battles. There's so many. To some people, that's a turn off. To me, I still love that. I will always still love that. That's what it's all about. Exactly. Yeah. But out of the Game Boy games, it is not as good as Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
Ooh, and there you go.
There you go.
So it may not be as good.
It is still the best Game Boy game.
And it is fourth on the Slag. Which is an impressive feat. I did say to you earlier today, I smell a top 3.
Yeah.
It's just pipped by Mario Kart DS, which I probably don't agree with, but it's up there, isn't it? It's still up there.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is one. Yeah.
It's just beating Super Metroid as well, which is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Two totally different games. That's the thing.
I know. That's the thing, is it? It's amazing having these discussions because it makes you think now. Because you think in my head now, I'm like, is it better than Super Metroid?
Yeah, but it's just on its day, it will be.
It will
be. If you're feeling Pokemon one day, you will. Yes, it's better than Super Metroid. But then you'll have a day where you're feeling, I fancy playing a better Metroid. Oh, Super Metroid is so amazing, you know.
That's the beauty of what we're doing, because it is just, we're not saying that these games are in this particular order are the best games of all time. It's just on that day that you want to play it.
It's just where we're ranking.
That's what we say. Yeah, exactly.
It's a collective. You and I putting a score together, and this is where they're ending up. And to me, Pokemon is rightfully up there because we've both bummed these games so much when we were younger.
Yeah,
there's a reason that we're
younger. I mean, I'm still.
You're still doing it now, but like when you first played, I'm talking about.
There's only been probably 2 generations where I bought both games, and so and I'm still, every generation I've got a game, and I've got Pokemon Home where I've got all the Pokemon I've caught, all saved in order, and I've got a spreadsheet of the Pokemon I'm missing. And honest to God, it's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Oh, mate, it's unreal. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh no!
But it's one of them ones that I love this franchise so much that I've got to. It's a big part of who I am.
Oh God! Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like I have so many memories of every generation. Like when eventually we talk about Pokemon Gold and Silver, like me and my two best pals, I would sit and every night on IGN when we knew there was going to be a news drop, and they would put videos on, and we would sit and buffer this video. And it's like that. It was on dial-up as well. So like a 2-minute video. Yeah, well, exactly. A 2-minute video would take absolutely forever to load. But we would press the play button, and we'd watch like the first few seconds. We'd give it a minute, press like 5 seconds. But we would watch it continuously. Do you know what I mean? And it's like all stuff like that. Oh God, here we go. Don't know if you'll see that. That's my list of Pokemon, and you've got all the ones I've got yes, and it's green, and all the ones I've not got is no and red. And it's every region: Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and it's all there. And I'm that sad because that's what this franchise means to me. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, isn't it? And that, when you have that love for something, like a franchise, you basically make it a part of your life, don't you? Because it is a part of your. Bloody hell, the first video we did in college was the case of the Poke Card Thief, or whatever it was.
Oh my God!
Remember that?
Yes.
And it was just the most random little video, but that was that was my first sort of realization with you. This boy likes Pokemon. That sound, I don't mind a bit of Pokemon. This guy loves Pokemon though.
Yeah. Man, I ain't messing around. It's a sticker. Give me all your Pokemon cards.
Man, we ain't got no Pokemon cards. We sold those out years ago, man.
I just remember Guion going into we got Gavin at the shop.
Yeah.
Guion's going, and he's like, what was it? Got a Pokemon.
Give me all your Pokemon cards.
Pidgey's legs all fucked up.
Yeah.
Man, look at my Pokedex. I'm telling you, I got a battle in 15 minutes. My Spearo's leg all f***ed up, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, God, it's funny, yeah.
I was like, oh, I got to Spearow. Spearow, I don't want no goddamn Spearow.
All I got some Bonita, and what's that use for?
Man, I don't need no goddamn Pony. Hurry the f*** up, man. I'm getting anxious and in here, man.
Oh, God.
Bless him.
Do you know what? Fair play to him. And then we had me and you as coppers.
Yeah. The cameo. The cameo appearance.
Having a shootout in the fucking cafeteria.
Man, your mama's so fat, we should cut her like gravy. Poured out.
Given
it's the hand at the end when he's on the table and he's dead and his hand close slowly just dunk. And we put the reverberate on the dunk so it echoed. Oh God! But see, it's stuff like that, though, isn't it? We just,
At the end of the day, if it weren't for Pokemon, that video wouldn't have happened. It'd have
exactly,
been a totally different
and then
video.
our friendship wouldn't have just bumfucked each other into existence. So there you go. It's got a lot to answer for. Right, I'm changing my answer. I want 900.
Potentially no Retro Gak attack if there was no Pokemon love, no Pokemon.
Exactly. Oh, God.
We're entering Inception territory now, so.
No, I know.
I think we best finish it off before Leonardo pops in and sorts us out.
Can you just put the horns in for me for How many times did we put that in a video as well?
We did.
Tried to put it in a video.
Well, we did the top 10 films of all time, didn't we? And I think Inception came out that year. So we mentioned Inception, then like every transition was just. I don't think the tutors got it. I don't think they got the humor.
I don't think the tutors got most of our stuff apart from the last video.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway. On that note,
it finishes fourth. Very impressive. Could easily have been higher, but like you say, you've got your other favourites. We could talk about them soon. I know nothing about them, but I can talk about Pikachu.
I'm going to make
some
sure
more.
you get them played, and then we can talk about it.
and not an easy game to just jump and play and finish off. Oof.
Yeah, that's it. Now you're gonna have to put some time aside. Anyway, on that note,
cheers, bro.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Oh, we need to know what we're talking about next time.
Oh fuck! Let's do it quick.
Oh, I don't know, man. Hold on. I'm still not updated my randomizer.
I know, we're too much regaling about fucking videos and reminiscing.
It takes me too long on top of everything else I've got to update this as well. So, just,
fire it through and we'll pick one.
Nope.
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 No.
No. We've done Metroid.
Yep.
We've just done Pokemon.
Yep, both good episodes.
Yeah. Spider-Man on PS1, Halo, or WCW NWO World Tour or whatever it was called.
That is a hard one. Because all three of them are amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy with any of them three.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if we probably limit Halo to the first three. Unless we just do Combat Evolved and then one day do 2 and then one day do 3. Because
I mean, we can do as a trilogy, but I want all three on.
That's the thing. So you'd have to talk about each one individually, really.
Yeah. But the problem is with they all merge into the same thing in my brain.
Yeah. But what we could do is just do like, we'll do one episode. Well, we'll do one.
Why don't we play them together now?
Oh, I know, Xbox baby.
I know. That's it.
Yeah, we could do that. You know, if we're picking Halo or picking Halo in future, we'll just do one recording like we've done, and then we'll just separate it. Combat Evolved, stop. 2, stop. 3, and then at least we can put each one on.
Yeah, that sounds like a deal.
I'm not giving 2 a good score, by the way. I don't like 2.
Right, okay. We'll do Spider-Man then, yeah?
Spider-Man! I think that would be quite a good one to do. It would give me a reason to play it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that downloaded so I can play it. PS1 Spider-Man.
On the PS1.
Done deal.
Awesome.
Done deal.
That is
right, okay.
Class. I'm so excited. Cheers, bro.
Perfect. Right. Hit us up on social media and all that jazz.
Get following, get subscribing.
Exactly. And touch each other's bums.
Don't touch
Bye.
kids.